Welcome back to The Next Biggest Winner. Today we're focusing on investing in biotechnology. Let's now introduce the head honchos of 3 publicly traded biotechnology companies who will now try to convince us why their experimental Alzheimer's and Parkinson's drug therapy and patent drug delivery platform is worth investing in. We have Anthony Giovinazzo, President and CEO of Synapsys Therapeutics, who's currently working on a Parkinson's drug. We have Tony Cruz, Chief Executive Officer of Transition Therapeutics, who's currently working on an Alzheimer's drug. And we have Shamiz Rampratap, VP Finance and CFO of Intel Pharmaceutics International, which is a drug delivery company. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Andra.
Anthony, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about your company.
Thank you, Andra. Synapsys Therapeutics is a drug development company focused on Parkinson's with a drug candidate that is a reformulation or a new way to deliver a drug that has been approved and used for Parkinson's patients. It treats what's called off episodes. These patients actually freeze up during the day, sometimes several times a day. And the drug is only available as an injection. And our approach has been to translate that into what you would probably understand as a Listerine strip, known as a sublingual thin film strip that is easily administered. Parkinson's is a very significant disease with the baby boomer generation, and our approach offers an opportunity to expand the market significantly.
And tell us, how strong is your patent position?
Very good question, Andra. The patent position is based on a systems solution, which is almost like what's called composition of matter, which is one of the strongest patent positions to have in this industry. And we also have focused the patent claims, as they're called, in the area of the actual amount of drug over a specific period of time, known as the pharmacokinetic profile. So it's a very strong patent position from that perspective. And
how big is the potential market for this new delivery method?
The existing market, as your question intimates, is small. It's about $50 million worldwide, which is infinitesimally small. But because there are a number of patients that do not use this injection, the potential market is expected to be somewhere between a minimum of $300 million and likely closer to $600 million per year.
And why do you think it is that no one else came up with this solution to convert the injection into some other form of delivery?
I don't know why they didn't, but actually many have tried. Over the last 15 years, there have been about 10 companies.
Why would you say they failed then?
They had a number of assumptions that they went into. They tried intranasal, they tried patches on the arm, they've tried tablets that dissolve under the tongue. They've tried a variety of different approaches, but they never had the opportunity to think about all those failures, which we benefited from, and were able to think about how to deal with the chemistry in an elegant, simple solution, which today is the Listerine strip type delivery mechanism.
Okay, so what would your prognosis for the future be, say, in the mid to late 2013, from a value realization perspective?
So we have, in the end of 2011, we have 2 major reporting data sets, one being a 500 neurologist survey from neurologists around the world on the unmet medical need, and more importantly, the first human studies on the actual use of the strip and how it delivers the drug, amount of drug in a specific period of time. And then in 2012, we will complete the clinical studies that the FDA has asked us, the Federal Drug Administration of the United States has asked us to undertake. And we would anticipate that we would be ready to file what's called a new drug application by mid to late 2013. And coincidental with that, we expect that our existing discussions with large pharma are going to materialize into some sort of significant deal.
Okay, thank you so much. Tony, on to you. Can you tell us a little bit about Transition Therapeutics?
The main focus of the company is our Alzheimer's drug, which is currently phase 3 ready, or ready to move into phase 3 clinical trials, which is the last stage of development before you would go for approval. We also have a diabetes program, which is partnered with Lilly, which is now moving next month into clinical trials and into looking to see how well it works in humans.
I'm going to ask you about this Alzheimer's drug in development. What distinguishing properties does it have in comparison to other drugs currently being developed on the market?
Most of the drugs currently being developed are attacking the amyloid, which is the protein in the brain that accumulates and forms plaques. And following formation of plaques leads to downstream events that leads to neuronal damage and events lost in cognition. So the 3 current products that are in development in phase 3 are antibodies to these proteins. Our drug is oral. It gets into the brain, so it's able to interact directly with the protein and reduce the amyloid burden in the brain. And because it's oral, it actually allows, obviously, easier to get into patients.
You've also, you have a diabetes drug in development that's described as the next generation GLP-1 analog.
The GLP-1s, there's 2 products currently on the market, and they lower blood glucose without the risk of hypoglycemia. And so they're really a favorable class of drugs. And they also have some additional benefits like loss in body weight, triglyceride profiles, and so forth. What we've done is combined the GLP-1 activity with another activity that reduces energy intake and increases energy expenditure. So the additional benefits would be a greater loss in body weight and also a better lipid profile, which would have additional benefits. This drug now is going into clinical trials, and it seems to be where the industry is going to add additional benefit to GLP-1 analogs.
Is that the stage of development you're at currently with it?
We're going into phase 1, yes, right now.
Okay. And what are the key milestones over the next 12 to say 18 months that can add significant value to the company and investors?
Our phase 3 compound right now in Alzheimer's is key. It's ready to go into phase 3. When our partner moves it forward into phase 3, clearly that will crystallize the value associated with that product. The second one is that over the next 12 months to 14 months, we will know how well our diabetes drug will work in obese patient population as well in diabetics. And those two, that information will add value to the company.
Okay, thank you so much, Tony.
You're welcome.
Shamiz, you're in the hot seat. Can you please tell us a little bit about Intelli Pharmaceutics and what's the focus of this company?
Intelli Pharmaceutics was founded by Dr. Izo Odidi, and he was actually BioVale's first VP of R&D in the formative stages of BioVale, and that was one of Canada's biggest biotech winners. So he started Intelli Pharmaceutics in 1998, him and his wife, and it's a drug delivery company. 2 years ago, this company went public, and we've used that drug delivery technology to file 6 ANDAs, so these are our copycat generic drugs,
Right.
as well as a 505(b)(2) platform for analgesic opioid drugs. We also have a partnership for one of our ANDA filings, a pharmaceutical company called Par Pharmaceuticals, and a pretty big patent estate covering the drug delivery technologies.
Okay, so what would you say sets you apart from other current pharma biotech Canadian companies?
Great question, because we're atypical in the current environment in terms of the public biotech environment, in that our risk-reward profile is different. We're taking copycat generics. We're going after controlled release, delayed release, extended release drugs, and we're trying to reformulate them without infringing on other people's patents. So the amount of money we have to spend to get to these drugs is less than your typical biotech, and also the timeline upon which it takes to get these products in the market is much shorter than a typical biotech drug.
Okay, so essentially when we're speaking about reformulating and all the costs going into this, tell us a bit about the technology you're using.
Yeah, this is the heart of the company. The Odidis have created a library of various drug delivery technologies. They've brand named it the Hypermatrix technology. When they're developing things, they think in 5 dimensions: height, width, breadth, time, and space. And realistically, in each drug, there are anywhere from 3 to 6 different technologies they've pulled out of their library to build into the drugs we're trying to develop. And so it's our own patented technologies, but what's more important is that we meet the dissolution profiles or the pharmacokinetic profile of the innovator drugs.
What products are in your pipeline and what does the market project for these products?
So on our generic side, we have 6 products. Our lead is called Focalin XR. It's for ADHD, and that's about a $600 million market cap market in the U.S. That is our furthest developed. We're partnered with Par Pharmaceutical, and in fact, that's our nearest milestone. That was, we've thrown out to the public markets. This is a milestone that we're expecting within the next 12 months to achieve. We've settled the litigation with the innovator that once we get FDA approval for this drug, we can market this product in Q4 of 2012. And that we're expecting will be our first sustainable revenues.
Thank you, gentlemen. We need to take a quick break, but when we return, our biotechnology investment expert, Nigel de Gruyter, will join us again to keep their stories on the up and up. Stay tuned and find out whose company he thinks is worth your money.